really wonderful to join you down at Château La Coste today. Thank you so much for, well, inviting us to Provence. And you've actually brought the sunny weather to us, so thank you very much. And
you're welcome.
So let me introduce you, everyone, to Zied, who is the sommelier at Villa La Coste, Bernabé, who is the sommelier also at Villa La Coste. We've got Raymond, who is the head of winemaking, and we've got Guillaume, who is head of viticulture. And so they're going to walk you through the property, and then we'll taste the wine. So over to you guys.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are really happy to welcome you at Château La Coste. We are now just behind the bar of our hotel, Villa La Coste. And just to make it like comfortable, we want you maybe to open the first wine, which is like the Pentedouze Blanc. And maybe we can like try it together. Just like sometimes you can like take a sip. And we're going to first talk about like the domain. And at the end, we're going to do the tasting. And there is also a part for like frequent asked questions. Let's call it like this. So we are really proud to host you this evening, just before the beginning of the season. So Château La Coste is situated in the heart of Provence, between Aix-en-Provence. Thank you very much, Bernabé.
You're welcome.
Between Aix-en-Provence and the Luberon National Park. We are right in the middle of 500 acres, right in the middle of the beautiful Provence land, including vines, olive trees, and like a lot of nature. Château La Coste is actually what it is. This is an art, gastronomy, and hospitality destination. People come here to enjoy little things of life. And this is also a palace hotel. But first and foremost, it is a vineyard. You're going to see now a video who's going to show you a bit more about Château La Coste, and we hope that you will enjoy it as much as we do. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Il est un petit peu chaud.
Nice.
Et là, c'est moi. Non, non. Là, c'est moi. Ah, c'est vous. J'ai pas fini. Il y a la vidéo, non? Well, I hope the video you enjoyed very much. And one of the most important things is when the adventure starts on the past, it was 2002. In fact, Mr. and Mrs. McKillen, Paddy and Mara, falling in love of the place, and they want to preserve, in fact, the wine heritage of the place and of the region, of course, because we can find the vine here since the Roman times. And the wish of Mr. McKillen and Mrs. McKillen was to create a place with a very interesting harmony between the hospitality, the gastronomy, and obviously the wine.
The thing is, here, there is many things to do. The whole year round, there is art exhibition, and also the experience is never ending. There is always something to see, something to taste, somebody to meet, something to try. And by working here, we actually highlight the work of our artisan and the work of our wine maker and wine growers. So the philosophy of the McKillen family is to respect the terroir, to respect the soil, to respect people, and to preserve all the environment to make the best wine possible from this ancient vine. The winery has been designed by Jean Nouvel, which is like a really well-known French designer. And the thing that we have to remember is that we are focusing on the organic way.
So about the soil and climate, the vineyard is really lucky to be located in an amphitheater, like it's at the geological aspect. It's a big amphitheater on the old volcan La Trivarez, and we can cross many factors: altitude, 250 to 500 meters of altitude, exposition, mainly mainly watching the north, but we have some plot and some vineyard looking on the east or the west side. And we are kind of protected in this amphitheater for the bad influence of the climate. And we can keep the good influence of the warm Mediterranean climate. On one hand, we have more limestone about terroir, and on the other hand, we have more basalt. And so that will give us two main mother stone and two main profile on the wine at the end, and you could taste it after on red, rosé, and white.
And I got a question like about like you are talking about the different exposition, the different kind of soil, and also the fact that we are having like a warm Mediterranean climate, but in the north side of the appellation, right?
Yes, completely. We are at the north border of the appellation, and the main exposition is in the north.
It's not really useful to have that kind of exposition for wine, no?
For sure it is, because we can grow even if the day is pretty warm, during the night it's pretty fresh, and so this good balance between two temperature is really interesting in the wine profile after. And we can also grow a touch of north variety, and Raymond will develop it after as a Chardonnay or something like that.
How about the grape variety, Raymond?
Hello, hi. The variety grape, the domain is oriented mainly Mediterranean variety. So Grenache, Cinsault for the rosé wine and the red, and the Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah take part of the blend for the different range. Vermentino Blanc, Clairette Blanc, and Grenache Blanc for the white wine, and a touch of Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, and is blend to the cuvée Grand Vin Blanc range of Château La Coste.
As you can see, Raymond, he knows the domain at the back of his hand. I think that he's there since like almost 40 years. And this is actually the fourth generation of our winemakers. So his son is working here. His dad used to work here, and his granddad also used to be here. So we can call this a kind of like family vineyard,
yes,
I believe. So it's really nice. I mean, I don't know if we see that much.
And
but,
we are all very proud of it.
No, yes.
Everybody is really proud of this, yes. So the Chais by Champ Nouvel, by working at the Chais, what do you think? You think that it's pretty easy, it's hard, it's because this is like a kind of like design Chais, it's not really like technical, practical?
No, it's a very nice Chais because it is following our philosophy of the least intervention possible. Organic grapes, and to transform it into wine, and with natural and ancestral technicals. So even if it's modern tools, we are lucky to use gravity. We are 17 meters under the level of the ground, to protect the wine in front of the temperature of the warm climate, the warm Provençal climate. So Raymond can maybe complete about the number of the tank and everything like that.
Yes, after we have 18 stainless tank in the cellar, different capacity for make a different blend and vinification. Small tank to create a small range of white and red. You can work very well a small volume because you select the field for white, for rosé, for red. 50% of the harvest is hand picking, and the rest with the machinery. We have a oak barrel too, nearly 250 barrels underground in the winery too, for nearly 250,000 liter of red, and 10,000 liter for make the white vinification and part of élevage, comment on dit?
Grown.
The aging one.
Sorry for my English, it's not very good.
No, your English is perfect. Yeah, I just want to talk about just a bit about the Chardonnay, because we were talking about just before the grape variety that we use. And you mentioned that we do have Chardonnay in the blend. For instance, in the Grand Vin Blanc, it's pretty rare to plant Chardonnay here in the area. Why did we do that?
No, Chardonnay is here in the domain a long time. We have 2 hectares of Chardonnay white, and it's very good grapes, variety grapes with this climate, Mediterranean.
I believe it's originally from Burgundy, because this is the name of a little village there, and they also use it in Champagne as well.
Champagne, yes.
But I think that everybody like it here when we blend it for the Grand Vin Blanc.
No, yes, we blend with the Grand Vin Blanc. We have in the blend nearly 20% of Chardonnay. And we make this Chardonnay in a barrel vinification and growing with the barrel. And we blend that in May or June with Vermentino Blanc for make the blend and bottling the range.
It's really nice. Really nice. And I want to ask about again, just before to present the wine range, we were talking about the biodynamic philosophy. Without having the label, but following the rules in one way?
Yes, so it was first in 2009, the organic certification, which was pretty early for the region, and we were like the first. So we...
In the whole domain, it's a huge domain. It's like about like 123 hectares of land, of vine, sorry.
Yes, so for us, it's a very good, very important project to convert everything. It was a very important project to convert everything in organic. And now, since a few years, we are getting the biodynamic practice. And now we would like to go a little bit forward more and to go to the Demeter certification in the next 2 years, next 3 years.
Oh, wonderful.
To go in the biodynamic certification. So this is just the result of the whole hard work, hard job they do in the winery about natural yeast, in the vineyard too, because we are lucky to manage the real artist, a team of 30 people with a winery. And everything is natural nutrients, and we are looking since a few years, like 10-15 years, of positive interaction between plants, between insects, between everything, and to get the best in the bottle.
So we almost avoid all the chemical products in the whole domain. There is no chemical products anymore since paddies took over the vineyard.
Yes, so since 2002, they don't use any more chemical product, and it was certified in 2009 with the organic label.
Perfect.
Very good news.
Yes.
And let's talk tasting. Maybe we have already did it. The Pantadus white. You talk about the grapes. In this case, we have. You can see it on your screen. Vermentino, which is the most important grape for the whites in our winery, grape originally from Sardinia, but we usually find it in Tuscany, also in Liguria, and obviously in Provence, which is called also roll. We call it also like that, isn't it, Raymond?
Yes.
In this case, I don't know if you like it. I love it, in fact. First of all, the color is very brilliant, very clean, very clear, and on the nose, it's very Provençal touch. We have a touch of fennel, some sweet spices too, because it was kept in just 50% in an oak barrel too.
How
But
about, like,
really,
the-
really fresh.
the oak-
Really
the
fresh.
oak barrel that we used, was it like a new one?
No, it's a second-hand barrel.
Second hand. So
Yes.
we still have like a hint of vanilla, let's call it like this.
Yes.
And yeah,
The nose is really nice, and then on the mouth, the most important thing. It's really direct, fruity. We have some citrus fruits on the palate, but a very interesting salinity, good sapidity. In my opinion, it comes from the terroir, maybe the limestone. I don't know if you agree, Guillaume.
Yes, I am completely agree. So what is typical of our terroir, it's more the saltiness, the little salty taste at the end of the degustation. And this is coming with the north exposition and with the altitude. We are not, we don't make full body wine on white. It's more a very good balance between all the flavors, and to finish with a little saltiness. Just to have another drink.
I agree.
is that minerality and the saltiness come from
Excellent.
maybe the Mediterranean influence?
Could be Mediterranean, but warm day, fresh night.
That makes the complexity, right?
And so because of the altitude and looking the north.
We talk about the saltiness. It reminds me of the sea. I think a very good combination for that kind of white will be, why not, a fish from the Mediterranean Sea, maybe the sea bass or the sea bream. We can roast it entirely and then stuff with some lemon, some thyme or rosemary inside in order to give to the product some very Provençal touch, with some stuffed potatoes or green peas, because the region. I don't know if you like that kind of course.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yes,
Definitely,
wonderful.
yeah. Yeah, we can also enjoy this kind of wine with maybe just a fresh goat cheese, served with a kind of like exotic chutney. Chutney made with like pineapple, mango, for instance.
If may I, we have a very nice goat cheese here in Provence, which is the fromage du Rove, which is a
Du
label,
Rove, yeah.
which is the label from the region, originally
Yes.
from here, which would be a very good combination for it. Yes,
True,
very fresh.
definitely, yeah. I like it. This is like really like one of my favorite white wine, which is like really pungent, with a note from stone fruit as well. This is like the kind of wine that you can enjoy since the aperitif till the end of the dinner, I believe.
And one thing very, very important, we can keep it on your cellar, because I know we are talking with the professional. You can keep it in your cellar for a long time. We are serving nowadays the 2012 at the hotel, and it tastes really, really, really nice.
So we're going to follow the degustation with this cuvée, the Chateau Rosé. It could be like one of the most emblematic cuvées of the domain. As you know, like Provence is the birthplace
Thank
of
you.
rosé. It's a birthplace of rosé, so I think that we do produce more than 75% of rosé in the label, but not really in the domain, because we're trying to have like this like kind of like spectrum, you know, to make like different style of wine. But this rosé is really amazing. If you look at the color, it's like really like shiny. You can expect some minerality. It's beautiful. It looks like, you know, a bit like rose, salmon. This is really like
Like
Crisp
orange,
color.
but yes, really nice.
on the nose.
Very expressive.
It's really
Very
pungent, very
aromatic.
expressive. We do have some red fruits,
Some peach.
Some pomelo.
some peach, some pomelo. What kind of red fruit do we have? We do have like some raspberries, maybe cherries. I do have,
White flowers too. White flowers like acacia flower.
yeah, jasmine as well.
Jasmine as well. Yes, some lily.
And behind, I don't know if you guys have it, but there is also some grapefruit. You know, we do have this bitterness from the grapefruit on the nose
Sure.
already.
It's really complex.
Yes,
Sure.
already.
I love it.
So let's
What
go
about the
to
mouth?
the palate. The attack is straight. We do have like a fresh acidity with a really high minerality. There is still like some red fruit, such as raspberries, strawberries as well. And behind this, there is like this kind of like graciness in the mouth, you know, like I think this is from the malolactic fermentation.
No, l'amertume. No?
Right. Le côté gras.
Yeah, there is no, yeah.
No, yes, because 50% of this blend is made with indigenous yeast. And
that makes a difference.
Yes, this is a different. And after when I blend all the volume for this range, the wine stays in the leaf and we mix 1 time per week this leaf in the wine. And
yes. Yeah, there is some like really thin leaves at the bottom of the barrique, and once a week somebody have to do it. You just like stirred it to make the wine richer and more round. And more round.
You can see it also on the screen that on the blend we have a little bit of Vermentino. I would like to know why, Guillaume.
It's because in Provence, Vermentino take always part in the rosé wine. So we use it because it's a very fruity variety, very fruity taste. So we use it for the Château La Coste because we want it a little bit more fruity, and we don't use for our Grand Vin because we are more on gastronomic wine. So the Vermentino bring a lot of good things in a wine like Château La Coste with some complexity, some fruity taste, and very. We try to have a wine easy to drink and to have good flavors in it. So exactly. Vermentino help a lot for that.
Thank you for information. Which kind of pairing do you think would be nice for that kind of rosé?
I think that I will go for Carpaccio.
Carpaccio, but what?
A different, you know, like not the kind of Carpaccio that we used to have. I can maybe imagine in my mind octopus Carpaccio.
Wonderful.
With olive oil from Château La Coste, lime on it, and maybe why not almond?
Why not some a little bit of almond?
Hazelnut on the side as well. Could be great.
Yes,
no?
we can travel a little bit. We can go to Peru. Why not? In order to taste a very interesting ceviche, course with some citrus fruits mixed and some avocado. In my opinion, would be a very balanced pairing with that kind of rosé.
Definitely.
What do you think about?
Sure.
I love Peru. I've never been there, but I would love to go to Peru.
Me neither, but I would like to go for just only for that.
You know, like the good side the good side with Van that we always travel with it, like especially when we imagine the pairing. It's always nice to imagine where we could be.
Exactly.
At the moment, yes.
And there's a question that's relevant for this moment that's just been asked. We'll do the rest of the questions at the end, but everyone is tasting today the 2020 vintage of the rosé in London, and they're just asking the differences between the two vintages, so between 19 and 20, and even between those two vintages.
So about the two vintage, 2020 was a little bit more rainy during May and June, so the ground was more charged in water, and the vines keep growing until September, and that will have the effect to have a wine more on the freshness, more on the bitterness, as you can taste, and on the other hand, the 2019 was more warm vintage, so it's more going to the full body wine, very interesting too, but on two distinct style.
If may I add some information about, if we talk about the palate, the aging capacity, 19 was wonderful, warm vintage, so ready to be drink. But 20, in my opinion, is going to be more balanced, and we are going to keep it for a more long time in our cellar.
We can age it like maybe longer than the year before, right?
Absolutely.
And we can feel the bitterness to keep a long mouth.
Yes, which is very novel.
Yes, and that will help for the aging too, because it's a really nice balance.
Very clear.
Which is
we do have like really like light pale.
Wonderful.
I think your 19 vintage was so beautiful, though. Your 19, I think you managed that balance for 19 so wonderfully. It was a stunning wine. and very kind of fresh, elegant, and balanced. So yeah, the 20 is, you know,
It's
even
going to
more
be
exciting.
still better.
Yes.
Yeah.
You will see.
It's a really nice question because in comparison, if you want to compare each vintage, everybody is agree with the fact that year after year, the weather is changing. It's getting warmer and warmer. If you ask to Raymond, 10 years ago, when we used to harvest, for example.
Yes, we start at the middle of September, 20th of September.
And now?
And now 2 years, yes, nearly 25 August. You have
almost 1
yes.
month before. So that's huge.
In just 5 years.
Yes.
That's, you know, so we need to focus on it. And that's why the fact to respect the terroir and the nature is so important. And we're trying to do our best.
And that's why we're very happy to have a vintage like 2020, because very well balanced and not too hot, not too warm.
This is it, yes.
Well, I think we can continue with the tasting if you are okay.
So what do we have, Bernabé?
It's the Grand Vin Rosé. Thank you very much, Zied. The Grand Vin Rosé, always 2020 in this case. Some Grenache, some Syrah too. And in this case, 100% hand picked, very concentrated, very elegant, very complex. Rosé, also a very wonderful color, nice. Always very brilliant, quite pale. It's like a rose, more or less, very pale. And then the nose is not as expressive, it's not as direct as the Chateau Rosé.
I would say this is more delicate. Huh?
More delicate, exactly. Yes. More flowery, it's hints of rose again.
Roses, definitely.
But very fresh roses.
Yes, sure.
Violets as well.
Which remind us the Provence, grass, Côte d'Azur.
And more on the flower taste.
Exactly.
We can almost smell the soil. Huh? We can almost smell the limestone.
Very fresh limestone.
It's really pure.
Quite direct. It's a kind of rosé. We talked before about the aging capacity, that we can keep it on the cellar for at least 5 years, and you will see the evolution will be something really, really, really wonderful. I remember, Emma, when I let you taste in a black glass, in a blind taste, old rosé. I don't know if you remember.
I do remember. I do.
And you said that you thought that it was a young white.
Yes.
That's why that's the reason. In this case, for the Grand Vin Rosé, we can keep it for a long time in our cellar, and it will keep the freshness and the minerality and the saltiness.
Absolutely.
I had the chance to try to taste the 2015 a few months ago, and I was really, really surprised because I didn't expect it like this, like high acidity, freshness, juiciness, and this like medium body, so well balanced. I think that we can call this gastronomic rosé, definitely.
And we are with Raymond, so it's a selected vineyard wine. So we keep the top of the hill on 3 varieties: Grenache, Syrah, and Cinsault. Cinsault will bring the part of the juiciness. Very fruity, and Syrah and Grenache more the body and the structure of the wine.
Cinsault, which is originally from Provence.
Sure, and it's one of our variety. What we can have really interesting in front of the global warming.
So
very good to know,
guys. I don't want to give to you to say your secrets, but how you do when you blend?
No,
you just like stay two of you in the shade. You pour some wine and you try, and then you decide straight away how it works. Tell us.
It's an hard marathon.
No, yes, you need to test the grapes in the field. You need to go every day to pick a sample, and you need to decide the good day, the good time to pick the grapes. And after in the winery, it's more easy.
Okay.
When you have the first ingredient, good quality, normally you can make a good wine after.
So you work the whole year round to have like maybe like 10 minutes of pleasure at the end when you blend it? That's hard, but that's good. You know,
Yes.
it's really noble from you.
After you're happy, yes.
But when we are
But it is
trying,
amazing. When
when-
people
when we-
think about it. Sorry, you go.
True.
When we are trying the 2020, we are thinking about the 2021.
Yes.
So
really
yeah, that is our satisfaction.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
All the year is not the same, and you try to do the best every year. And the wine is a live product is not the same. You think
Yeah,
it's the same,
nature.
but no.
By talking about viticulture, I want to ask you how it went for you at the beginning of April when the whole country was like completely frost. We heard that like a lot of winemakers lost like a lot of part of the land, and how did it go for you?
More than 20% in France, I think.
Yes, that was huge. Like I do apologize for all those winemakers who lost the whole year of hard work. But how was it for us?
And we were looking for frost in the vine, but we didn't find too much because, and we are lucky to have an amphitheater, so that protect in front of the frost. And so we saw like 1% of the flower which get the frost. And so we are 99% safe, and
Nice.
we cannot complain about the frost.
This is because we do have a kind of microclimate, right?
And we have the microclimate. It's 120 hectares amphitheater, so it's an house big.
Different wind,
yes.
the Mistral, the Tramontane.
No, it's more what coming from the north. It's following the Durance Valley and the Luberon.
From the Alps.
Yes, and with the river, the Durance, it's getting warm, and this humidity and kind of warm and still windy that push the frost out of the amphitheaters. So it's very, we are very lucky to have this form of vineyard and to protect naturally our vineyard.
I'm very sorry. Raymond said me it's going to be more open. It's maybe a kind of rosé because very gastronomic, very complex. That we could decant it. We could decant it when young, because it can allow us to have more aromas, more fruity taste. In this case, I don't know if you agree, Emma. Did you taste it?
Absolutely. No, I think it's and I thought it'd be great to hear what kind of pairings you would say for this also. But just to go back to just what you were just saying as well, because there is that question that has been asked actually for later on, but you've just answered it, which is about the frost. What are the other issues? What are your main issues, your main risks at Château La Coste?
The mildew.
Yes.
The mildew. Sometimes we have it here.
Yeah, since 2 years, Provence gets some mildew, and it's pretty new for the Provence because it's not supposed to be like that. But it's for us, we doesn't feel global warming. We feel more about an unregulation of the weather, an unregulation of the season, and sometimes it's rainier, sometimes it's colder, sometimes it's warmer. So all these factors make the viticulture more, how can I say that, but it's more we have to yes, we have to be very careful
Agile
about everything.
Yes, but I believe that the mildew is there because of humidity.
Because of rain.
Because of rain, and then when it's rain, it's still humid,
Yes.
and then you get some bacteria.
Yes, but on the other hand, when you have a rainy months of May and June,
You are very happy in Provence.
and you're very happy to have a very fresh rosé in the wine. So it's hard during 2 months, and then you have another satisfaction.
And how about the odium? Do we have this disease?
No, not too much. It's not. It doesn't take part of the Provence climate.
So if I'm not wrong, Emma, like you can see, we are in a wonderful place, not only for the view, not only for the surrounding, but also about the issues, because we don't have not frost, not mildew, even, and as you can see, as you can taste, the result is here on the glass. In this case, I hope you like it. That kind of rosé, we can combine it with some spices like saffron. Why not the saffron? We have some saffron here at the Puissante Reparada.
Really well known one.
If we think about the saffron, I'm Spanish, I'm very sorry. I think with the paella, a very nice paella with saffron, and you can do it in your way with some meat, with some fish. It depends on you, with some vegetables from Provence, of course. And in my opinion, with a very noble paella, it could be a very good combination for it.
You're making us hungry now. You realize that?
Yes.
Me, for instance, if I follow your energy and the fact that you want me to be hungry, I don't know, I will go, I'm gonna wait sunny day, and I'm gonna sit on a terrace and I'm gonna ask like the whole seafood selection with it, you know. I'm gonna ask from some lobster, I'm gonna ask from some mussels, clams, I'm gonna ask from razor clams. I think that it could be a great pairing as well, you know, like why enjoying a kind of late brunch or early dinner, you know, like why enjoying some sun. I think it could be a great pairing as well.
Exactly. Maybe
I think post lockdown, you're now encouraged. We're now desperate to come to Provence and enjoy exactly that. I think we're all now ready to jump on a flight at the earliest moment we can.
You know that we're already jealous because you in London, I believe that all the places are already open, right?
In slowly reopening. So outdoor, yes. We're now all outdoor venues can serve now, but indoor next Monday. So on Monday, we're very much looking forward to it. But we'd like to have your weather though. We'd like if we could have the weather and the
yes.
together.
But shortly also we're gonna open our terrace next week, and I'm sure that everybody is gonna enjoy
the Grand Vin Rosé,
the Grand Vin Rosé
with a lobster,
or like anything.
Which is the next one?
C'est le Grand Vin Blanc.
The Grand Vin
the
Blanc.
white.
On l'a oublié.
We're gonna continue the tasting with the Grand Vin, which is like the Grand Vin Blanc. The Grand Vin Blanc is the one that we were talking about just before.
Thank you, Zied.
The one which is blend with Chardonnay as well. And this is like really like uncommon kind of white wine that you can find in Provence. We were like one of the first who decided to blend Chardonnay, as Raymond said just before. And sometimes people, when you pour that kind of wine to like a blind tasting, people really do think that we are in Chassagne-Montrachet, Pouligny-Montrachet, sometimes Meursault, but this is really like pretty hard to know where we are.
It has a very Burgundy touch in a Provençal way, and it's a wonderful wine.
So this wine is parallel as the Grand Vin Rosé. It's our top plot on white grapes, so our Chardonnay, which is really hard to find Chardonnay in Provence, and with Vermentino too. So the top of the hill, made 100% in natural yeast, and with we could say Burgundy vinification. So big barrels and taking profit on the lees, and everything on the biodynamic practice. So the moon and everything like that.
I don't know if you are tasting it at the same time, but
the color always is really interesting, really will make it.
Yeah,
always brilliant, always clear.
Pale lemon green with a hint of gold. This is really attractive. Huh? Like even just before to taste it, when you look at it, that's beautiful.
Also, it's a kind of wine that we could decant it in order to be more open. Even if it's already open, if it's already aromatic, and we have some sweet spices.
How long before to enjoy it you suggest to decant?
If possible, 1 night before, if possible.
1 day before?
1 day before, yes, or 1 night before, yes, of course, because you need it. It's like a baby in this case, that's 2019. But I know it's really difficult in a restaurant do it. So you can decant it before. And in this case, you can see it's a kind of white. We talked before about the aging capacity. In this case, it's a kind of wine we can keep it at least 10 years in our cellar. We tasted 2011 a few weeks ago, and it was really, really, really wonderful. A lot of emotion.
This is, yeah, that's beautiful.
Hints of always Provençal products like fennel, rosemary, thyme.
This is really the garrigue profile kind of wine.
And with a mix of exotic fruit, a little bit.
Would you say therefore that it's a great wine to have by the glass, therefore, because you can open it and then it's going to keep breathing as it's kind of being, well, whenever it's served over the next day, it'll be like you were saying, if you decant it, but similarly, if you just open the bottle and you're serving it by the glass, it will let it breathe more. So it must be a great option for that too, would you say?
Well, if you I suggest you sell it by the bottle, decant it if possible, but you can keep it in your cellar and you can do by the glass the old vintage as we do here at Château La Coste.
As a Coravin, yeah, we use the Coravin for this type of wine because this is really like the boutique style of white wine that we do have. And in one way, it's not a question that we don't want to waste it. This is more the fact that we want to keep it for the best pairing, for the best time, you know, and that's why we decided to age some bottle, put it in the cellar, and save it by the Coravin.
By the Coravin, in order to have a very interesting pairings, because the wines of Château La Coste can show us that the terroir is one of the most important things. And when I talk about the terroir, we talk about the person,
yeah, this is really
the climate,
to,
and obviously the surrounding, the artist, in fact.
And so, yeah, the artist. This is really important to highlight the work of our winemaker, wine grower, because this is, I mean, with their help, that we could have this like a kind of like philosophy to welcome people from all around the world, to share those little things to make your life better every day. And it starts with like something nice to drink. So thank you very much. Thank you for doing that for us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we are really happy.
It's a gastronomic wine. I don't know if you agree.
Yes.
So we need a very gastronomic course in this case.
Sure.
We talked before about the fish, vegetables, but we can match that kind of wine with a white meat. With a white meat, why not? The very important thing for a pairing is also the cooking way. In this case, we can choose a poultry. Why not a poultry? Very slow cooked, and we can combine it with a Provençal, very Provençal, originally from Provence vegetable, the fennel with a braised fennel on the side. In this case, we'll have the fennel on the wine and also on the course, and the softness of the course will be nice with the richness and the roundness of the white wine. I don't know if you agree. And it's poultry is already cooked.
Completely. And me, I will go with a deep sea shrimp from Spain called Carabinero. Have you had the chance to try the Carabinero?
From Palamos.
From Palamos. Thank you very much, Bernabé.
Originally from
And I think that we can play with different structure of cook, like maybe two different kind of cook on this same Carabinero. Which one will be like just undercooked to keep the juiciness, and the other one just like grilled from the top. It could be like really interesting to balance those both structure with this wine. I think they both match with it.
Absolutely. Or if you like it also, I like very tasty carpaccio of carabineros with yourself.
Yeah, could be a great idea.
Can we have a pairing too?
Of course, Raymond, please. We are waiting just for that.
And I am very interested in this wine because we find the lactic taste, and for me more traditional and more Frenchy. The breast chicken, the breast chapon, you know,
the crispy side of the
yes,
skin, right?
With a lactic taste, will be very great.
Yeah, perfect. I can really picture that, like, definitely. I think this is what I'm going to have today. Thank you very much.
I'm
But
becoming hungry.
I don't know if you feel the same thing as we do, but I still do get in my throat this richness of like spectrum of like aromat. And I don't know if what you have, but I do have like stone fruit, white flowers at the same time. I do have cinnamon, rosemary, white fruit, such as like a green apple, but a bit ripe, not like the fresh one, like a bit ripe green apple, pear.
With a very well balanced acidity, in fact, very well balanced.
This is really, really interesting, and I hope that you enjoy it as we do. So you want to switch to the red?
In fact, because we are in France, and France means wine and cheese. Which kind of cheese do you think would be a good combination for that kind of wine? Just my humble opinion, I don't know if you agree, sheep cheese. Yes. Very nice sheep cheese. Why not from the Pyrenees, from the Basque country, the Osurati, not too age, middle age.
Yeah, with the high acidity.
Exactly. With why not a sherry chutney on the side? Would be an interesting combination for that kind of white. What do you think about?
True.
Do you like the cheese?
Sure.
Me too. I hope you as well. You Emma, do you like the cheese?
Definitely. I have to admit, we had a meeting yesterday, another different wine pairing, but I had a very classic wine pairing yesterday of Comte and Vin Jaune, and you know, a different pairing. But we've got some people who weren't so sure about it on the team, and they just kind of were Marmite, Marmite, you love it or hate it, and they weren't so sure about the Vin Jaune, but the others, you either love it or you hate it. I always think with that, but yeah, Comte is my go-to, I'd say.
It's one of the best, and the pairing with the Vin Jaune or even a Jerez would be a very good combination for that kind of wines.
Yeah, the oxidation is the perfect pairing because actually Vin Jaune and Comté are both from the Jura. Yes. And this is I mean, this is like a wine region that people should expect a bit more because it's not known enough.
Exactly.
If you compare with the quality that they do.
It's still very much undiscovered, but I think when I was there once, you mentioned about the cheese. I got in the worst traffic delay when I was there, behind a load of cows, so Comté, and I couldn't get to the next wine visit, because of all of these cows in the road. And it's a wonderful region to go to, and quite amazing. So, yeah. So onto the reds. Look forward to trying these with you too.
Yes, and we can continue in this case. We can continue with the red in this case. Voila. I think it's time for the Pantadouce red. It's a yes, so we can go with it.
If I can be terribly cheeky as well, just a question, just was thinking, what for each of you is your favorite Château La Coste wine? To put you on the spot. C'est quoi votre vin préféré de Château La Coste for each of you?
We like all because they make all the wine.
It's easy answer.
Easy answer.
It doesn't have favorite babies.
No, we like all the best range and the first range because yes, when you make, you need to like because you make the good product for the customer.
Of course.
After, yes, when you lunch, depends what you lunch. You prefer the best wine for different foods and the entrance range for pizza, for salad. But all the wine is good.
All the wine is good. If may I add, we can drink all of the wines when young, and they are really, really tasty. But personally, I prefer when aged a little bit.
Yeah.
Just in case. For more information. Yeah. So you can keep it in your cellar just in case.
I think that my favorite one will be the Pantadouce Blanc.
Ah, I like it.
It's really like the type of wine that I like. Really like expressive, pungent, generous, the type of wine that you can really like. When I drink that kind of wine, but this wine, even if I buy myself, I'm not alone anymore. All my friends are around me, so that's why, you know, like I'm thinking about like all the nice moment that I had with my friend, and this is like the sensation that I got. So yeah, I will go with the Pandus Blanc.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And you, Emma, you have any preference?
Oh gosh, now you put me on the spot. I should have expected that. It's such a tough one. To be honest, I really love the again, you know, we've got the 2020 arriving in stock. Well, it's in stock, but it's just getting booked on the system. And I know the teams are trying the 2020 right now, but I have to say the 19 Rosé, Grand Vin Rosé, and even the straight Château La Coste Rosé, I really thought, because I tried previous vintages, which were very good, but I just thought the level for the 19 vintage was, you should be just so immensely proud of it. It was delicious, and I'm really excited to. I'm on the 19 today, sadly. But I really look forward to trying the 20 soon as well with you all.
20, you will see, is going to be still better.
Oh, even better.
No? You agree? I think so.
Yeah, yes.
Completely. Is your baby?
Amazing. Brilliant.
We can
So
go
now
with
the red wines. I think we're running not too short on time, but I know that the different hotels are super busy ahead of launch. So yeah, if we can try the next 3 reds, that would be wonderful.
Well, in this case, the color, we can talk about the ruby red color. Very brilliant too. All the wines are really brilliant, very clear.
It's not really deep ruby. This is like a medium to deep.
Exactly.
We can expect it to be like a medium to full body red wine, I believe.
On the nose, it's very direct, very aromatic. Some cherry, some strawberry.
Potpourri. It's really floral as well, huh? Really like wet flowers, olives.
Tapenada, black olive, exactly. Always with this Provençal touch that it comes from the terroir. And the mouth is really, really, really smooth, very noble tannins. Very long on the palate, quite spicy and fruity, very well balanced.
The tannins are really well integrated.
Very interesting bitterness on the end of the palate.
And fresh acidity as well.
The saltiness, the minerality is always here.
You can feel that the acidity is like almost all the way back to the throat. And this is, I think, in my opinion, which is really interesting, is that we try now the vintage 2016, and we already got like a lot of complexity from the aging. I do have like some leather, some like kind of like animal type of like tastes, such as leather. We do have wet forest woods,
but always very fruity.
Always really fruity, really well balanced as well.
And you told Zied about the animal side of this red wine, and I'm thinking about a course, a very typical course from the Camargue. I don't know if you know the region of Camargue, not so far from here. The taureau, the bull from Camargue, would be, in my opinion, it's a kind of meat that would be a very interesting combination with that kind of red wine, with some vegetables of the season on the side, some green peas, some green asparagus, why not? But we can choose also a vegetable, quite sweet vegetable, maybe the townsnip, with some creamy townsnip on the side, to be combined with the bull from Camargue. I think it would be a good combination for it.
It's a great combination.
Which kind of course would you like to?
Me, I don't know if I want to talk about course with that kind of wine, but I'm going to talk about a restaurant. I will decide to book a nice table at Francis Malman restaurant, the king of red meat, and he created his own way of cooking. And I don't know if you guys like had the chance to come to enjoy this table, but this is one of the best tables in the area.
If not, here we are.
Definitely should come to visit us. But Francis Malman, if you sit there, you get a chance to try a ribeye, but the way that you never tried before.
Des empanadas.
Oh,
Wonderful.
stunning.
He cook everything right in the middle of the terrace, in the whole oven, full of fire. That's really not just a dinner, it's a whole experience. And I had the chance to meet the characters a couple of times, and he's such a nice person. Really, like, he likes to share his knowledge. He's really patient, really kind, and like this just inspiring person. And I will suggest to go to enjoy anything from his menu with this type of wine.
Thank you for this suggestion, because you were talking about Francis Malman. We think about the chimichurri sauce. Chimichurri, wonderful sauce.
I continue.
Exactly, with some persil, with some oregano too, olive oil and vinegar. Very, very quite. Not, it's originally from Argentina, but it's quite Mediterranean too. It could be a very combination for that kind of meat, the toro de Camarga, the beef from Camarga. Why not? I think would be a good combination for it. Raymond, which kind of course would you like to eat with this wine? I'm very curious.
A good bœuf bourguignon too.
Bœuf bourguignon.
You have yes, the
with wine sauce.
Yes, wine sauce.
Some onion,
yes.
some. Why not? Very, very tasty too, and
I think too.
Slow cooked.
Gibier.
Yeah.
Yes,
some game,
yes, yes.
game too. Yes, gibier, some game. Okay. Why not?
And after cheese too.
Which kind of cheese? Because the reds sometimes it's quite difficult to combine it with.
I think a good Roquefort.
Why not? Good blue cheese.
Yes.
Strong cheese, yes.
Roquefort Gorgonzola, maybe we can. Cabrales from Spain too. And maybe from England, which kind of blue do you suggest with that kind of red?
I think I'd have to stick on the same line and go for a good Stilton, to be honest with you, from what you're saying. I'd have to follow your lead, but go for a good Stilton.
I think we agree.
But I do agree, it's hard with red sometimes. Everyone always thinks that it's a red, not a white often, people think, to pair. But actually, white wine goes so beautifully with cheese, doesn't it?
Normally, it's better the white for the cheese. Yes, normally.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to the one and only, the Grand Vin. The Grand Vin of Château La Coste. This is really something that we all love to enjoy.
Thank you.
Can you remind me the blend of the Grand Vin, please, Guillaume?
It's Syrah and Cabernet Sauvignon. So depending on the vintage, we may use some Grenache. It's always all the Grand Vins are in the same process. We keep the best plot of the vineyard and the highest plot of the vineyard. So we are talking about 400 meters in altitude, 350 and 400 meters. And it's the last week of harvest. So we go until the right maturity. And it's a wine with some structure, with some flavors. And
very interesting flavors.
It's very interesting, but its better potential will be in 10 or 15 years.
Yes, this is hand-picking grapes too in the harvest. We separate Cabernet and Syrah. We make the vinification in the different tanks. Is the fermentation during nearly 10, 12 days. And after this year, for example, I do the second fermentation malolactic with the grapes in the tank, because the grapes is very, very nice this year. And I try to do the malolactic with the grapes in the same tanks. We make more complexity, more volume. And after I press all the grapes and I put in the oak barrel in December. The Cabernet in different barrel, new. Here you have 50% of the range. You go to the new barrels, and the other 50 in the barrels of second-hand of wood.
And it's nice because we cannot really like notice the fact that 50% of the blend has been aged in oak barrique. It's not really like the kind of like big Cabernet that people used to to do here in the area. We do got this like freshness on the side, and this is really
this is a Syrah
impressive.
Yes.
It's really concentrated, as you can see on the screen. The yield is 30 hectoliters per hectare, so it means very concentrated juice that we can have it on the glass.
It's very low, and for us, 30 hectoliters per hectare, it's completely natural. We don't do the green harvest as some domain in the West Coast can do, where it's just because of the terroir. It's low potential since the beginning, and so the wine is on the right balance to get 30 hectoliters, not more, not less. And it's very interesting in the glass after.
It's really wonderful, huh?
And this is indigenous, yes, too.
Indigenous too.
Yes.
This is really like a boutique style red wine.
Always red ruby, but more dark than the first one in this case. More deeper red. The nose always aromatic, a little bit more maybe elegant than the first one.
And when it's getting open, you can feel some licorice. It's getting fresh.
Exactly.
The first noise, it's more on the black fruit, red fruit, and at the end, it's getting fresher.
Very fresh. I talk always about the minerality. In this case, we have it.
And also about like the body of the wine. It's still like a full bodied, but I do have almost velvety tannins. You know, I think that more you carafe it before, and more you're gonna have like this like sensation of like tannin really well integrated, and at the same time you can also age it longer. I think about like can go up to like 5 or 10 years more.
10, 15, 20, you can, yes, absolutely, without any problem. Because we have the acidity, we have the tannins, the richness.
And also, if you want to talk about like the blend, we do have the Syrah. Syrah is a grape variety come from Rhône, so north and south. And we do have also the Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yes.
And this is like Bordeaux
yes.
type of grape variety. And this is like a great blend. I mean, like, do you know, like since when we do use Cabernet Sauvignon here in the area?
Oh, here, when the vineyard is great, the first variety, Cabernet Sauvignon, it's here.
From 1958,
Yes.
well, even before. The 1850 was the first place here in Château d'Aix-en-Provence, not in Provence. This is another typicity, it's original from here, from the label, the Cabernet Sauvignon, which allow us to have wines that we can keep it on the cellar, and they have a very interesting aging capacity again.
And actually linking into what you're saying, there's a question here actually from the Berkeley, where they're saying, why did you choose, why is it being chosen Cabernet Sauvignon as to have a major role in the blend rather than other Mediterranean grape varieties such as Grenache?
Very good. I don't know.
Such a good question.
Historically, the first winery was a winery not so far from here. It was in 1850s, more or less. In my opinion, because the person, unfortunately, is not here anymore. I think you agree. You can talk about that later. It's that the area, because we are situated a little bit on the north here, it's a very nice place for that kind of grape, that it needs to be in a more freshness place than the south part of the province. Do you agree?
Sure. It's just a supposition for me too, but we are the most septentrional side of the appellation, side of the Mediterranean appellation.
The Côte-Rôtie of the province.
So, yes, and the Syrah came from the north, and the Cabernet Sauvignon came from the west, and they took place here in Château d'Aix-en-Provence, and all the appellation was built around Grenache, Syrah, and Cabernet Sauvignon, and that was since the beginning.
Okay.
And they are very complementary. The Cabernet Sauvignon will bring the acidity for the aging and the structure and the body. The Syrah will bring also the body and some spicy and some more flavor.
Smoothness.
Smoothness too. And you could feel the Syrah on the Grand Vin. It's on the body. It's this little taste of cacao. You know, the tannins feel the cacao, and the Grenache will give the fruity taste. And the Grenache is a Provençal variety, and it's not with a lot of structure, but it's always interesting for fruity, and it's a very it's a nice place to grow Grenache here just because it's pretty warm.
For the rosé, for example.
Yes.
Yeah, and linking into actually the next wine, the Grand Cuvée. There's a question that kind of links into it, just to actually ask which grapes make up the blend for the Grand Cuvée and the winemaking techniques.
We taste it together, the Grand Cuvée in this case. We can taste it together.
And this is a great idea actually, because I remember that originally we hadn't thought to include it, but the Daniel at the Connaught suggested the idea of tasting this.
In this case, it's a step up of the Grand Vin, if I'm not wrong. More concentrate. It's almost a single plot. It's a selection of the most interesting plots we have. Always the same blend, Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah.
Yes.
And the aging is on the barrique. It's 18 months.
24 months.
24 months. So
yes.
still more than the Grand Vin.
Yes. And after this, I test all the new barrel we do for Grand Vin, and we choose the summum quality for this range. Every barrel is tasting. I make analysis. I try to do the blend with another barrel, and I chose very, very nice barrel of Grand Vin go to this range Grand Cuvée.
So the best part of the Grand Vin is selected to blend like a part of the Grand Cuvée.
Yes.
I don't know if you agree, but as soon as you put your nose inside, you already realize that you are in another world. Huh?
In a blend taste, we can't say we are in Provence because we are in a special plot. Maybe I don't know, in Côte Rôtie or something similar, very, very elegant, very delicate. Plenty of flower notes on the nose. The violet on the nose. It's really, really
spicy, and it's 2012, and it's still very fresh.
It's still very fresh, really. Young and
so
fresh.
This is
we also do have some eucalyptus.
Yes, eucalyptus, sure. Eucalyptus flowers.
Licorice.
On the smooth sounds on the palate. It's one of the most important things. It's really round and very long on the palate. With this kind of red, as for the Grand Vin, we could combine it with some game. I think with the deer, a fire of deer, smoked deer with why not red and black fruit sauce. Could be a very interesting combination for it. You have to slowly cooked always, in order to keep the soft touch of the meat. But the deer would be a good combination for that kind of red. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I do agree. And if you want to continue in this direction, I will go with duck. Duck, really juicy.
Because we are in France. Absolutely.
We are in France with a pomegranate and olives sauce. For instance, really like expressive. And
the duck from the land, if possible.
Yeah, from southwest, please.
From southwest.
From the land, from Gascogne. Yes. Why not?
If you want better than a duck, you have the goose.
The goose, exactly. Thank you. What you can suggest them?
I will suggest
some courses.
My grandmother did some goose, and it's very nice. And it tastes the same as a duck, but more elegant.
More elegant as the Grand Cuvée. as
This
the Grand
is-
Cuvée. So
I
very good
think
combination.
this is really like I had the chance to try the vintage 2011, and this is the vintage 2012.
The top of the top.
Then I think that this one got the crown of the wine that we do, because all the time when the guests like to try what we can offer in the Wine of Wine, when you finish your tasting with this, people look at you really like, and the way that they tell you thank you very much to make me discover
Exactly.
this, and this is always like a success.
The blind taste is always very, very funny. We try to do it here at Villa La Coste very often, that you know already, Emma. And very often I do the Grand Cuvée at the same time with another very interesting Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah blend with from another very interesting winery from Provence. And all the people, I can't say the other winery, but I think maybe you can know it, Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah blend. And all the people goes through to the Grand Cuvée because it's something really, really, really wonderful. And the blind taste, we have the true, in fact. There is no, there is no mistake, in fact.
I want to know, like, when you say that you use old vines for this blend, like how old are the vines that we use for this?
Oh, this you have 45, 50 years old, Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah.
And then when the vine get older, the vine produce the same quantity of wine as she used to produce when she was younger?
No, when it's getting older, a vine will produce less and less, and they will be like 5 or 10 years when you will get the optimum between yield and between quality. Our job is to find this 5 or 10 years in the life of a plot to get the optimum quality of the vines.
And I think we are not so far from the optimum here.
So I think that this is the same type. I mean, if we take Raymond as an example, more you get older and with experience, and better you create wine. So this is you.
Thank you, but
I want to talk about experience.
Sometimes it's good to have Guillaume, it's a new man here, and he have her opinion. I have, yes, because I know, but it's interesting. And this year I make a different range. I test rosé, the Grand Rosé.
More experimentation.
It's good to have the new experience too, because
yes,
it's complementary. It's really complementary.
Exactly.
And yes, and you can make better.
It refresh the vision and the type of wine.
And the know-how.
We have the experience and the journey. Yes.
We're running a bit short on time, guys. So if I could, I'd love to ask you just a few questions ahead of the end, whilst everyone's just enjoying their wines. So first one, this is from the Connaught. So they're asking, what are the aims for the next 5 to 10 years? I know you touched upon biodynamics, and it's so exciting that you're going to go for the biodynamic certification. But are you planning to introduce new grape varieties, or are you doing any other changes?
So we have 3 axes where we are working. It's not introduce new variety because they are old variety, as Clairette and maybe some Mourvèdre. So we already plant some, and we are waiting for the vines getting older. So the idea is to have the Clairette on the blend of white wine, maybe in balance with the Chardonnay, because I don't know if you may know the Clairette. It's a very nice and elegant cepage and variety of Provence, Mediterranean side. It's a main variety of Cassis appellation. And we also plan to plant some Mourvèdre, and Mourvèdre will complete the blend with the Cabernet Sauvignon, and they have the same attributes. But Mourvèdre, it's more from Provence, and also in touch with global warming, because we know that every year the average of the temperature is getting higher.
So the most important grape from Bandol, just
Yes.
close by Cassis. So always in front of the sea. You can see we are going to be closer to the sea, in fact, because the warming, so the global changing.
Sure.
Yeah,
this was
really
this was just the first axis, and the second one will be to work on other tank, other raw material like grass or clay, red clay,
yeah.
or other type of clan like
Would you
amphor.
look at using the eggs, or would it just be large tanks and kind of
The
Amphor,
Amphor, yes.
the eggs? Yeah.
So amphor, eggs, and we have another one called tulip. It's a form of tulip,
Yeah.
and
like Cheval Blanc, I think so.
yes, it's the same as Cheval Blanc.
Fantastic.
So we are working on it. Everything is not done. We are still researching, and wine take time, so we have to be patient.
Yeah.
And
it
third.
Sorry, it links into the next question, actually, just to loop in there in terms of the barrels that you're currently using. Where do your barrels come from, and what size are the barrels?
Only come for France. It's a French barrel. It's yes, the wood come of the forest of Allier, Vosges, the center of France. And after we use a different supplier to test what variety go better with the
grapes or
the wood, because today you have different woods, different when you hotting inside.
Yeah.
You have different temperature.
Kind of cook, you know.
Yes, you have different temperature, different time, and this is very important for the wine. For the variety of the grapes too, the wine, what you make, and what you want the profile of the wine to the market. And it's very important. Today I work with 4 suppliers, different woods, different volume, 225 liter, 300 liter, 400 liter. And I try to make the good compromise to make the best red with the best wood too.
And that is also always research, because when we find the good pairing with the barrel or with the factory, the climate change and the vintage change. So you have to always adapt your way of doing wine, making wine.
It's not easy.
But we appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Maybe we will do some Jerez on the future. We don't know.
And
we plant in UK nearly.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I had
La Coste.
Yes.
I had a lovely Pinot from the Cotswolds yesterday. So
I would love to try
moving
Pinot.
in the right direction. But yeah. So then another question here regarding the difference in the styles of rosés that you produce, whether there's massive differences in the winemaking, or if it's very much focusing on the different grapes, different plots. Just really asking that question for you. So how the rosés differ? That it's the winemaking more, do you find, or is it the grape varieties, or is it more the land where it comes from?
May I answer that? Yes. In fact, it's all of that.
Yeah,
grapes.
all of the above.
Yes, exactly. The history.
Yes,
the history,
the tools, the winery.
Exactly, everything. In fact, where we are in Château d'Aix-en-Provence, that's my humble opinion. Still, we are in the more well-balanced rosé in Provence, because we are not on table rosé, you know, very dark, very strong. We are not in Saint-Tropez too, very light, almost white. In this case, Château d'Aix-en-Provence, it's quite a salmon color, medium body, very smooth on the palate, very elegant, as you can taste, as you have tasted before. I don't know if you agree. We are on the middle in the middle range.
Sure, but the first what is the difference? What is different? Sorry, with other appellation like Château d'Aix-en-Provence or the appellation from the Var.
Côte de Provence.
Yes, they don't. We are the only one to have Cabernet Sauvignon in the blend.
For example.
Château d'Aix-en-Provence have some, but less than 5%, and so they don't get the acidity we have. We have more color, we know. It's not very trendy, but
tasty.
It's tasty, and it's our attributes to have Cabernet Sauvignon in the blend. And so just that.
And I've just got 3 last questions for you here. So is there a winery, a domain, a property which has inspired you, or where you might have worked previously that has inspired you in the kind of wines that you produce? It's a tricky one, that one. It's a good question.
Qui vous inspire pour faire ça?
Our
notre domaine.
Our inspiration is Raymond only.
No,
Oh, I like that.
For all of us.
Yes.
No, the owner tell us, I want this with the best of the soil you have, try to do the best with the wine. And after we make a new winery, a new machinery, and we know the fields I have, the variety, and I try to do the best with all the domain. And
So
I think
being true to your terroir.
Yes.
And if I can complete, we are always trying what the neighbors does. So it's depending of each variety. On Cabernet Sauvignon, we could try what they do in the Alps, Saint-Rémy-de-Provence.
Nice terroir, yes.
Trévalon, Ovette. They are nice master of Cabernet Sauvignon in Provence. And for the Grenache, we are not very far to Châteauneuf, so we have good winery as Rayas or some other in biodynamic, which they are doing very nice wine. And for Syrah, it's the Rhône Valley, the north of the Rhône Valley. We can try very good things.
Gangloff.
Yes, in Gangloff, also Chave.
I love their wines. They're very good. I tried it.
So,
and just 2 last questions, not to keep you. So the first one is regarding which is the main market for your wines, and also kind of which is the most important wine for export within your range. So the main market, and similarly the main wine that's kind of the key focus within your range.
I think the main market is France.
I can answer the question. I think that if you take 100% of the production, that was really, really important for us to sell in France, because some domain, they want to take the opportunity to sell like maybe 90% to the export, and then after they don't have like this French philosophy anymore, and that was really important for us to stay in the French market. So the first third of the production is sold here in the domain, because we do have like huge land in the beautiful Provence here, so we get like a lot of visitors. We do have like 1 palace hotel, 5 restaurants, and a wine shop, which is really famous and trendy. So the third of the production is sold here. The second third is sold in France, in the whole country, and the last one is for the export. Mm-hmm. So I think that this is like the best way.
Yes, the export represents the 40% of the sales, and 60% is France.
Definitely. And we've got a few people saying that they're going to have to head back to work now after this wonderful tasting. They say a massive thank you. Just one last question for you, which I think is a brilliant question, because I had no idea. But why the name Château La Coste? Pourquoi c'est Château La Coste?
Pourquoi le nom de Château La Coste?
Because Château La Coste is the name of the property, and
it was the name of the estate on the past,
mm-hmm.
and we kept it.
And in the top of it, La Coste, in Provençal language, means the hill, la côte.
The slope, in fact.
And that's why like all the vines are planted on the hill,
Yeah.
It was like really typical. He gives like a typical type of wine, and then they kept the name of the cote in Provençal way to say La Coste.
Fantastic.
So
Thank you so much for today. I mean, truly, we're getting such lovely messages here. Everyone's saying quite how wonderful it was. So thank you so much for your time away from the vines. And we look forward to joining you in Provence soon.
Thank you very much for joining us.
We were waiting for you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao,
Thank
Emma.
you.